Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to discuss about the Java OOPS concept. So there are mainly 6 concepts. First one is object, second one is class, third one is encapsulation, fourth one is abstraction, fifth one is inheritance, and the last one is polymorphism. So we will go one by one. Let's start with the first. What is object oriented programming? We are learning about the concept of the object oriented, but first let us see what we can call as an object oriented programming. So definition says object oriented programming is basically a computer programming methodology that models software design around objects rather than function. So in object oriented programming, everything is prepared, is arranged as per the object, okay, not per the function. Okay, so basically there are two main approach. One is the procedure oriented programming and second one is the object oriented programming. In procedure oriented programming, the software will be divided as per the function, as per the task it need to perform. Like for example, what we are doing in the C. But over here in the Java, we are going to divide the program as per the object. Okay, so everything over here is around the object. And what is object? That we are going to learn in the next slide. Okay, let's start with the object, the first object oriented programming concept. So it is a real world entity that has a state and behavior, which is known as an object. Okay, so as we have seen in the what is object oriented programming. So object oriented programming says that everything will be around object. So what is object? It is a real world entity which is having some state and behavior. What do you mean by state? State means you can say the attributes or you can say the properties. And what is behavior? Behavior you can consider as a function or methods. So what kind of object it can be? So object you can see over here, it can be a fan, it can be a table, it can be a keyboard, it can be a pen, it can be a bike. Okay, this all are the example of the object. Okay, this all are the real world entity. Okay, and as well as human is also a object. So what it says that object is a real world entity which is having a state. So state, what is state? State is attributes and is having some behavior. Okay, let us see some example. For example, if we talk about the humans. Okay, so human is the object which is having some attributes. What kind of attributes human having? For example, name, color, height. These are the attributes, these are the property of a human. Okay, and human also have some kind of behavior which is called as a function. So what are the functions of the human? We can say walk, we can say read, play. These are the functions, or you can say these are the behavior of an object. Okay, so object is a real world entity which have some attributes, or you can say state and their behavior. For example, let's see another example. Let's say animal. Okay, so again animal is having some attributes. Let's say for example breed is one of the attribute. Then for example color is another attribute for the animal. It also has some function, like for example bark is a function of the animal. Not bark is specifically for the dog animal, but we can say that is eat, walk. These are the function of the animal. Okay, so basically object is any real world entity any real world entity which is having some attribute and they are also having their behavior. Okay, like let's take one more example. Let's say for example bike. So bike is having their model number, it also have color, okay, it is also have some name. So these are the attributes of the bike. What are the function? Let's say for example change gear. Okay, this is the function of the bike. Let's say for example brake. Okay, this is the function of the bike. Okay, so this all are the real world entity. So I hope that you can understand by this examples that object is nothing but a real world entity which is having a state, that is the different properties or you can say attributes, and is having some behavior. Behavior means functions, their methods. So this is called as an object. Let's move to the second concept, that is class. So let's first see the definition of class. So class can be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. Okay, so the previous concept which we have seen, that is the object. So what they are talking about class, it can be defined as a blueprint from which you can create an individual object. Okay, so from class, by using the class we can able to create an object. Okay, before we create an object we first need to define the class. Okay, so based on the class we can able to create an object. So that object will contain all the behavior, which is defined in a class. Let's see with the example. So for example there is a class dog. So dog has some properties like for example breed, size, age, color, and have some behavior, their functions like eat, sleep, run, bark, etc. Okay, so now this dog is a class which is having this property and this behavior. So now based on that we can have a different object. Let's see that. For example, this dog is our class, or let's see another example. Here we have seen example of dog class. Let's see over here, for example student. Student is a class. Student is having a name attribute, roll number attribute, okay, and let's say address. Okay, so this student is a class which is having some attribute and also have some function. Student have some function like read, write, and play. Okay, so now for example if one class student is having name, roll number, and address as their attributes and read, write, and play as their functions, now what we can able to do, from this class student we can able to create an object. For example student, the object name is Rahul. Okay, this is a class, student is a class, okay, and Rahul is the object. Okay, so in one class we are having for example 50 students. So each and every student will have these attributes and will have these functions. Okay, so one of the student is Rahul. So it means that this student Rahul will have name, roll number, and address. And Rahul also have a different function like read, write, and play. Okay, we can create another object like for example student Sunil. So that again Sunil will have this behavior which we have specified in the student class. Okay, so student class again having a role, a name, roll number, address, and having different behavior, that is read, write, and play. Okay, so here we can able to see that our class student we have specified as a blueprint for the object, because whatever object we are creating from this class, that is student, that will have this attribute and this function. Okay, we do not need to write down for each and every student again and again. Okay, because as you can see, we just need to create an object of the Rahul. This all the attributes and functionality will be applicable to Rahul. We just need to create an object Sunil. All the functionality and attributes will be applicable to Sunil. So in class, if we are having a 50 students, we do not need to create a different 50 class. We just need to create an object of that particular class. Okay, so that it is said to be over here that it can be defined as a blueprint. Blueprint for what? For an object. Okay, so that object which is created from that particular class will contain all the behaviors, will contain all the properties which is defined in that particular class. So that is the second concept, class. Next one is the abstraction. What is abstraction? It means simply that hiding internal details and showing the functionality is known as an abstraction. So in our day-to-day life, we are using this concept of abstraction many times. Let me show you an example so you will get more idea. So for example, when we are going to ATM, what we are doing? We are inserting our card, it asks for the PIN number, and we can able to withdraw money. Okay, so what we can able to see? What we can able to see? We can able to see one hardware and we can able to interact with one software. Okay, and we can able to withdraw money. Okay, but to perform that task, what kind of code has been done in background, we cannot able to see that. Okay, we can able to see only the user interface. We can only able to see the hardware, but we can not able to see the internal functionality. Similarly, we are using laptop. So what we can able to see in the laptop? We can able to only see the screen and keyboard. But to display something on the screen, there will be different kind of functionality used in the background. But that we cannot able to see. Okay. Another example if I will give, you can, for example, when you are writing something like google.com in your browser, so you will be connected to the Google server and that page will be shown to you. But what kind of background functionality, what kind of background process is there to connect with that server, what type of code has been written, okay, that we cannot able to see. Okay, so abstraction means hiding the internal details and show the functionality only which user required. Okay, so in day-to-day life we are using this abstraction many times. One more example if I will give, when we download the Android application, what we will get? We will get some APK file. Okay, and when we are for example downloading some software, we will get the exe file. When we run those files, we will get some software or some application will be launched. But for writing that application, for developing that application, which kind of code has been developed, what kind of package has been used, what kind of functionality has been developed, we cannot able to see that. Okay, so that is the examples of the abstraction. Now let's move to the next one, that is the encapsulation. It means that binding code and data together into a single unit are known as encapsulation. So basically encapsulation means that we need to bind the data and methods together. That means that encapsulation. Okay, so we have seen one of the concept, that is the class. So what happened in the class? So in class, for example, we are having a student class, so we will have their attributes. So that attributes over here, they are referring as a data members. Okay, that attributes, they are referring as a data members. For example, we are having integer roll number. Okay, for example, we are having character name. Okay, so these are the attribute of a student. Another one is, for example, read and write. These are the function of the student. So that is over here, we can write down like this one. Read is one of the function. Second one is, for example, let me write down like this one. We have a block of code over here, and this one is write. So here you can see that we are having one class student. Inside that class we are having the data members and their functionalities, their behavior, and in term of Java, if we said method. Okay, so all these things are encapsulated under one class. This attributes and function are inside the class student. So this is basically known as encapsulation. Okay, what definition we have seen? Definitions are saying that binding of data and code together, this is called encapsulation. So here this is what our data is, and this is the code which is written in a method. Okay, so this is called encapsulation. Inheritance. It means that when one object acquires all the properties and behavior of a parent object, this is known as a inheritance, and it provides the code reusability. So this is one of the important concept of OOPS, object oriented programming. Let's see some of the example first. So here you can see that child can acquire all the properties and behavior of the father. Similar way, this dog and cat is a different type of animal which acquire properties and behavior of animal. Okay, let's see some other example. So here let's say we are having human. So human is the object. As we said, that human may have a name, their color, their height, then let's say for example their address. Okay, so this is one object. Okay, now let's say for example another object, and let's also define some of their functionality. So walk, read, write are the functionality of the human. Okay, so now we have another object, let's say for example employee. Okay, so now what we can do, this employee, if we want that, because see, when we talk about employee will also have these attributes and functionality. Okay, employee will also have, because employee is a one type of human. Okay, so basically when we talk about this inheritance concept, okay, there is a relationship between two class. Okay, because see, class means I'm talking that, for example, this here they are saying that when one object acquires all the properties and behavior of a parent object, but object of what? Object of class, right? How we can able to create an object? Once we create a class, and from that class we can able to create an object. Okay, so here this human is an object which is having this attribute and this functionality, and this employee is another attribute. So obviously this employee is a human. This employee is a human. So employee will also have this attributes and their functions. Okay, so what we can do over here, this employee can use all the attributes and functions by extending that human class. Okay, so this statement means this employee class extend human. So now this employee class can use all these attributes and functionality, and we can define any additional functionality. For example, additional functionality of employees work. Okay, so that additional functionality we can define in the employee, and we can use this attributes and function over here. So basically we do not need to write down this attributes and function over here for the employee, because it is already there. This is what called as a inheritance. Okay, and inheritance will have a relationship that employee is a human. Okay, we can write down like this one, employee is a human. Similarly, another example, if we will see, dog is a animal. So there is a relationship. So we can say we can able to use this inheritance over there. Okay, so while we are using inheritance, what we have done over here, that there is a one human class and there is a one employee class. Employee class is extending this human class. It means that employee class using this human class. So in this case we can say that employee is a child class, or we can also call it as a employee as a derived class. Okay, and in case of human will be called as a parent class, and it will be also called as a base class. Okay, so in this case human is a parent class, employee is a child class, parent is a base class, and human is a base class and employee is a derived class. So this is the one of the important feature concept which is used by the OOPS inheritance. It provides the code reusability. We do not need to write down code again and again. We will already have a class, so we can use that already available class and add our new functionality in that particular class. And the last one is polymorphism. So what it means first? So this word polymorphism, it means having a many forms. In simple word, it is the characteristics of being able to assign different usage to something in different context. Okay, focus on that line. Being able to assign different usage to something in a different context. Okay, so I will give you a very good example with which you can able to easily relate. Let's see over here. Okay, so one man, one human, you can see over here who is standing in the middle, will act, will function differently in different context. Okay, one human will function differently in different context. Okay, when you are with the family, your behavior, your function will be different. When you are working as an employee, your behavior will be different. When you are playing, your behavior will be different. When you are reading, when you are writing, your behavior will be different. When you are in a meeting, when you are somewhere else, your behavior will be different. So your behavior will depend on the context where you are. Okay, so that is the best example of the polymorphism. Let's say for example, we are having one add function which add two integer a and integer b. Okay, so what this add function will do, it will add two integer numbers. Okay, now let's say we are having another add function which add integer a, integer b and integer c. Okay, so this both are the add function. Both function is having the same name, that is the add. But what the first function will do, it will add only two numbers, whereas the second function will add three integer numbers. Okay, so basically when you are as an argument, when you are going to pass two number 10 and 20, this method will be executed. This will be not executed. Second one is not going to execute when you are going to pass two numbers. But if you are going to pass three numbers, in that case the second method is going to execute. Okay, so as per the context, the functionality is going to execute. Okay, when you are passing two arguments, first method is going to execute, and when you are going to pass three arguments, second method is going to execute. So this is what called as a polymorphism. Okay, so these are the 6 concepts of object oriented programming. First one is the object, second one is a class, third one is a abstraction, fourth one is the encapsulation, fifth is the inheritance, and sixth one is a polymorphism. Okay, so I hope that all of the concept is understood by you. If you are having any query, you can comment below. I will surely reply to that. Okay, so I hope that you understood this concept. If you understand those concepts, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and also press the bell icon so you will get the update of the videos which I am going to upload. Okay, and all this concept which we have seen, we are going to see that practicals in upcoming videos. Okay, so do not forget to subscribe it. Thank you so much for your love and support. Thank you.